Hello, my loves. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in today. I've got Denise with me today who will be sharing her bloom and, like a longer thyroid healing journey with us. Welcome, Denise.
Thank
Uh,
you.
if we can start perhaps with you telling us a little bit more about your story, why you were looking for help, what exactly brought you to me.
Yes. I guess I became very symptomatic after the birth of my daughter about 6 years ago.
Mm.
But looking back, I probably had elements of underactive thyroid and Hashimoto's for many years before that. I always struggled with weight gain and everything was an effort. Like I'd do workouts and I'd have to have a nap after them. And I could just never understand why I wasn't able to keep up with others. And I guess after my daughter and I kind of, let things I was trying to like let things figure themselves out postpartum. But I was starting to get some really strange symptoms. And a couple of those were like hair loss, and I had this great mane of hair all of my life, and digestive issues, and like heightened anxiety. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And then a series of, I guess, stressful events kind of all came over a period of about 6 or 7 months. And every single symptom was getting like much worse. And I had been to 4 or 5 doctors, like local doctors, trying to figure it out. And I always asked for my thyroid to be checked because we do have a history of thyroid issues and in our family. And I was just told I was always in range, and I never realized I could ask for the blood report or, the other things that you should be testing. And I just started to do a little bit of research and kind of started to discover that you really need to be your own advocate in this, in any health journey. And I went back to all of my doctors and asked for copies of my blood reports and started piecing things together and seeing that my TSH level was rising over those 6 years. Um, and I found a functional medicine doctor in Ireland, which was really helpful, and they got me started on altroxin, which is the most common hormone replacement for thyroid health. And um, that was still a rocky start. I was really overwhelmed because, with this condition, your system is already stressed out. Your adrenals tend to be burnt out. You're already trying so hard to figure things out, and you're trying to keep your head above water, as well as having, a job and a daughter and family life and all of that. Um, and I knew there was a connection to the nervous system. I always knew that,
Mm.
I did really well when I kept up my yoga and I was, being mindful of myself and doing meditation. But those series of stressful events really kind of like threw me over, and I couldn't find my way back. And I had found a somatic therapist where I live, and I'd started somatic therapy, which was a big eye opener and probably one of a big kind of turning point. And I started looking up somatic health and thyroid health, and I came across Aggie McCabe.
On
And
Instagram, right?
yes, yes. And you had a whole piece about somatics, and I had followed lots of
Mm.
thyroid health people, and they were they were overwhelming. They were like you were kind of every day there was something else that you had to avoid and something else you had to supplement. And I was absorbing all of this, and it was just adding to my overwhelmed system. And I unfollowed all of them, and I started to go back and look through a lot of your videos and content, and I started making your bone broth, and felt, the impact of that over time, helping my digestive system and my mood, actually. It really helped my mood. And then I did some of your somatic work. I took part in some of your free classes. I spread the word to my friends and family about it that have thyroid issues, and I was like, taking on board a lot of your recommendations, and I'd seen some of your programs coming up, and I had watched the Bloom course. I think that was over winter
Mhm.
rollout, and I was like, okay, I'm going to look at doing that in 2024, 2025, and yeah, I really haven't looked back. I It has been an absolute transformative journey, to be honest.
That is such a great, like, honestly, you described everything so well, the whole journey, and I am so happy that you found me. But it's exactly what you said. I think there's a lot that can be taken from all those three resources as well, right? Especially when
Yeah,
you're new to this. I think it's so needed before you commit to something like Bloom to try those
yeah,
little things and this different, more just regulating, relaxed almost approach, right? Because
yeah,
you'll see small changes, and that small changes almost give you this like hope that it can get better and better. And the broth that you've mentioned, like I've got this whole write-up, I know you probably have seen it. The chicken broth as a spiritual practice, I think I called it, because I really feel like this whole process of making it is so
yeah,
deeply healing, and then like consuming it, and it's so delicious. And it's
yeah,
really funny because that recipe like comes like generations back from
yes,
my like grandmother and my mum, and it's just yeah, it's like truly truly healing. So whoever is watching, if you want the recipe, yes, I'll be sending it again this week in a newsletter, so very excited.
yes,
Alrighty, so okay, so Bloom, it's just like amazing to hear that. You're gonna tell us a little bit more about in what ways it helped you. But
yeah.
did you, in terms of like any dietary interventions, did you try anything before, like any of the AIP protocols or anything like that, or you've just seen them
I
through?
tried I tried
Right.
everything.
Mm.
I tried the AIP diet, which is the autoimmune protocol, which is very popular and
Yeah, yeah.
common, but it's not sustainable, and I guess I learned a couple of things from it, but I wasn't able to like maintain it. Whereas some of the things I learned through Bloom, even the ways to support my digestive system and to support
Mm.
my nervous system have, radically changed my my diet and lifestyle. And they've like it's kind of it's not any one thing.
Mm.
It's all of these small
Yeah,
building
small.
blocks that have like led to this kind of transformative change and energy and um feeling bright and feeling curious about life and feeling like excited again. And I think there's 5 years lost where I was just like dragging myself along, and I don't feel like that anymore at all.
What when you first started, what were the expectations? Like, what did you think was going to happen? Because obviously you've done little things, and then there was this big
Yeah,
few months ahead of you. What did you think was?
I guess as much as I had been implementing things, I would still slip up, and I would still, I'm somebody that needs to go to the gym and have a plan or a trainer, or
Yeah.
I need to be told sometimes what to do. And I think the accountability part of Bloom has
Mm.
been really important, where we would have regular hot seat coaching sessions with you, and we'd have a small pool from the Bloom group. And they were just like, you don't realize it, but they're actually so powerful.
I think a lot of people just have this idea in their heads that they want one-to-one. And the one-to-one is some sort of holy grail
Yeah.
of support. But I don't think have we had a one-to-one session? Because I
No, no, I don't
no.
think we have. No, no, it was a
Yeah,
hot
which
seat.
is
Yeah,
right. Which
yeah,
is just shows how much, how much depth there is in the
yeah,
program itself and the support in the community, because there is also a community chat that where you get the answers and like you can chat and like ask questions. But the hot seats are, I would say, because what you said about the other people, so it's like you get your own one-to-one support because then you unmute yourself and we have a chat, but through listening to everyone else's stories, right? There is just so much there. Okay, so In terms of improvements, when did you start noticing first changes?
So I had started the gluten-free kind of
Mm,
dietary change, and it hadn't changed my antibodies or anything, but it definitely helped with inflammation. And I think the first month of Bloom, where we there's a focus on nervous system
mhm.
regulation, was probably the most powerful. And it's actually great that that's at the start because
Yeah.
that's kind of like helping to reset your system. And you know, when you're with everyone together and we all have a nervous system issue, it's kind of reassuring that we're all working on this together, and that through these like somatic therapy sessions and the boundary setting sessions that we did with you as
Mm,
well, um, they were all like extremely powerful. And I think after like 4 to 6 weeks, I was feeling like my headspace was much better
mm.
and energy was starting to improve. And then I was about 2 months in, and I think my hair stopped falling out. And
Yeah,
that was
that's
one of my biggest
yeah.
uh, symptoms that was just really affecting me because it wasn't just like a few strands, it was a lot. And I'm just like I call it the bloom regrowth, but I have like, all this hair everywhere that's like growing
Yeah.
back. And that's been so great. And that's, a culmination of all of the parts of bloom, from the nervous system work to the all the different kind of protocols that we go through, and
Yeah.
nothing is restrictive. There's a curiosity with everything because everything is so individual. So it's like, try different things out to see what works for your body and your system and your life, and take things at our own pace, which, is really important as well. So yeah, it's a culmination of everything together. Um, and coming out the other side of it now, I'm kind of like, um, in a way, I'm like, I want to stay with Bloom forever, but I know that it's given me the tools to be able to manage life
Yeah.
and to carry on. And I've had some really stressful situations, and I've used the nervous system tools, and I've managed to get through some really tough times, and it's been. Yeah, I think I said the word transformative about 5 times already, but yeah, it's been
You
transformative.
can say it if you want that. It's allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's such a great thing to hear. And you just said, like, just before we hit the record, you were saying that you've just had a day where you went, was it for a walk after the gym or something like that, and you were still,
I
yeah,
Yeah, I've started back at the gym over the last month. So I go 3 times a week. But in the
mm,
evening time, I've also been able to do a 45-minute walk. And a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to do either of those things without
mm.
needing like a sleep.
Yeah,
And there's like no napping. And um, I just can't get over the energy, that I have, and
no.
the change in my headspace as well.
Absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. And tell me, you kind of touched on this already, but like things that you really enjoyed about Bloom experience. You mentioned the hot seats, the group community. Was it mainly that?
So I think the nervous system regulation was probably had the biggest impact for me. But the group environment, actually, knowing that you're not alone and that this is a thing that happens to women in the busy world that we live in, and that, we all had very similar symptoms, um and very busy lives that led to us, being in front of each other on a Bloom call. And in a way, that's not reassuring, but it's we're not alone, and
Yeah,
you
and
feel like
that's validating a bit,
yeah,
no?
it's
Yeah.
extremely validating, and that and I guess just in general the support, like your kind of guidance and wisdom, and nothing phases you when we bring you some new challenges every week.
Yeah, I'm very good with keeping as
Yeah.
well the nervous system regulation in action.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so you're kind of leadership of the group in helping us work our way through everything in a really, I want to say gentle, but like it's really just a supportive environment that doesn't ever feel overwhelming. There's no deadlines. You take things at your own pace. We're given some some different videos and content to look through ourselves, and then bring questions to the hot seat sessions or the community chat. So yeah, all of those things were super helpful throughout the Bloom process.
And anything that you found particularly like challenging or difficult to get yourself like,
Um,
any phases of the protocol maybe or parts? The
yeah, I guess, when you're starting out and you're considering it, and the kind of financial outlay of it can be a little like it's a big commitment. But I
mm,
was looking back at what I'd spent going to doctors and consultants trying to figure out, and out of everything that I've done, this has been the most transformative, and um, it just makes so much sense looking back now, and I'm just in such a better place compared to this time last year, compared to when I was starting out with Bloom
yeah,
versus coming out the other side. I'm really strict around my boundaries and who I surround myself with and what I follow online, and what I'm doing with my day. And those are things I wouldn't have given any time to before.
yeah,
And I've learned all about that through Bloom and the impact that it has on things like our nervous system.
absolutely. And tell us just a little bit, because I know we chatted about this before, but your endometriosis journey, I just wanted to just get your just a short story because it's quite, I think it will be very helpful for a lot of people. And I know that you've had also quite quick like wins in the beginning when you started implementing things, I think from fundamentals or something like quite
Yeah,
basic, and you've had like this big change in your like periods, for example, and like the
yeah,
length and like heavy they were. And perhaps speak to that and how like the Bloom journey also helped you in your endometriosis journey, because
yeah,
it's, I know it's a huge subject, but if you could just give
yeah.
a little bit of a
So
summary.
I've always had the worst periods in the world,
Mm,
and they were heavy and they were long, and they got longer. And
yeah,
about 2 years ago, it peaked with a 14-day period. And I was just being given medication to, help stop it or reduce it. But again, it wasn't figuring out what the hell was going on. And I kind of took the same approach as I've taken with my thyroid in terms of like owning that journey. I
mm,
first of all needed a diagnosis. I couldn't get a diagnosis in Ireland. I had been to two gynecologists, and I was told to go on the pill or get pregnant, which was a bit of a slap in the face.
mm,
And yeah, I had done the fundamentals course, and once I had started implementing some of those changes, like going gluten-free, my 9-day period became a 5-day period, and
I see. Okay.
I they were much, much lighter. And I was literally like 25 years of this, and no one ever considered the inflammation or
Mm,
maybe the autoimmune connection. Um, and that just changed things for me because my body wasn't fighting and trying to produce these really heavy periods all the time. And it was allowing healing to happen, and, probably helping with other things happening in my system. And that has been a huge piece of my thyroid journey. There is a huge link between thyroid health and
yeah.
our reproductive system that just isn't well researched and isn't well documented. So that all we have is a lot of women's stories.
Mm,
Um, and when I met my surgeon in London, I went for endometriosis surgery 6 weeks ago,
yeah.
and he said, there's often a lot of women who present with endometriosis that have thyroid issues. So I ended up going for that surgery because I've been in such a great place, and I just wanted to see, if I got this information taken out, would it help? And uh, the recovery has definitely not been linear, but again, I have used a lot of the nervous system tools that you provided, supported my digestive system, and I am doing so well. I just feel like my 30s were just full of hormonal imbalance, and I've just turned 40, and now it's like I have this chance to live a really good life. And Bloom has been Bloom has been the turning point in all of that to unlocking a really good life. That's what I feel. Um, yeah, so thank you. Thank you, Aggie.
Most welcome, you're more than welcome. So what would you say to someone thinking about joining? We are at this like pivotal moment now. We've got just a few spots left. I know there are people reading, thinking, but it's a big investment. Is it any different? Will it change anything?
I could never have imagined where I'd be right now this time last year. And Bloom has been fundamental to that. But all of your work that I took on board has been fundamental throughout your free classes, and they kind of gave me a taster of how good things could get, how
Mm,
much better things could improve. And Bloom was a way to really solidify some of those new things into my life and to talk it out with other people. Sometimes you just don't have you're not able to talk about your thyroid health with your partner or with people because they don't understand it. But being able to sound things out and talk with others has been really helpful. And just your wisdom and understanding of thyroid health and nutrition and digestion and the nervous system has been, you know, just so incredible. And yeah, I'm just in such a great place.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy for you, and I'm so grateful that you came here to share this because I always say that, like people think that I ask for testimonials for myself, but I actually ask for testimonials for other people. And when you're agreeing to do something like this and spend time with me being recorded on Zoom, telling your story, it's for those ladies, those women who watch this and they just, they need this. So thank you so
Yeah,
much for taking the time
yeah,
to share this story. I'm so happy you found me. I'll say it again. And I'm looking forward to, continuing to cheer you on in whatever capacity. I hope, we'll obviously
yeah,
stay connected and I hope things continue unfolding and I can't wait to see what's there for you
yes. Thank
in this
you.
new chapter. Alrighty, thank you so much, Denise,
Thanks,
for
Aggie.
joining me today. And yeah, I'll, I'll see you very shortly.
Thanks, Aggie.
Take care. Bye.